All right, we're back for another week of whose questions will we actually answer? No special guests this week that I know of, unless TC's smuggling people in. Are you smuggling
Nope.
people in?
Not this week. No
All
special
right,
guests.
well, shit happens. It's all good. Anyways, we're here. We do have in the chat box a poll, and this week's topic is what kind of powder rider are you? Smasher, blaster, slasher, or shitter? Don't be a shitter. Shitting's bad. But we'll check back on that in a little bit. But get your questions in there. We're going to try to, we'll try to get all your questions answered and everything from that. So, yeah. All right, we'll start the week off with our boy Letters. What music setups do you guys use? Earbuds, helmet speakers, backpack speakers, hung from your clues. Hashtag 8 days till Bungus Basin opens up in Idaho. They're going to be jibbing frozen potatoes.
Yep.
I got earbuds. Mine are wired.
Yeah.
Yours aren't.
Mine are just these ones that I use. Just throw them right in and call it a day.
Yeah. All right. Gringo Brian, beast suit poop zipper, great for pooping, but awkward for mid-run jorking. Skill issue or new bibs. Hashtag 10 days to shreddy time. Well, you don't want bibs if you're jorking while riding. Pants only. You can just unzip the fly and whip it right out.
Yeah.
Dongs out for powder. Toe-side powder boners, dude.
Press and pickle.
We got a super chat here from Beziums. What advice would you have for someone trying to squat 225 pounds? Hashtag smash pow. Hashtag Brian isn't riding in 10 days. Hashtag spin for slim. Well, Travis isn't here this week, so, we don't have to worry about giving advice because we know you squat way more than that. All right. And then we got a question from Ted G. Will the ride C8s with the straps flipped pair well with a Jones Mountain twin and a K2 passport? Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. Why not?
And from our boy Car Wreck, what is a gateway trick to learn Miller flips? Tripods.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And then we got Brian P. Angry Snowboarder can't do real boot reviews because Averin has no legs. That's factually true. I have no legs. No riding footage because his leg conditions require him to ride with no pants. I'm not wearing pants right now.
Just like the news anchors. Just let it free ball.
Oh, dude. This is actually just a dickie. There's nothing on my back. I can just pull this off. This is how I roll. From Carpe DM. How do you find out about board demo days? Is there any upcoming around Summit County you're aware of? Check the resort that you go to's calendar of events. They usually have something. And if you're out riding, pop into any of the shops in the base area and ask them if they've got anything going on. That's usually how something's going on. I know that like Gravity will probably have a few demos with different brands. I know Underground and Breckenridge will. It kind of comes down to who's doing what, where, and when. So, yeah, let's see. Okay, we'll take this one from TBTT. How well does the Nidecker Mellow fare at unpieced cruising and carving? Looking at it for 60% piece, 20% side hits, side country, and 20% pow. Good option or look elsewhere. I mean, it turns. It's not. I like the old version better. It turned better on there. I think there's better boards. Honestly, if you're looking for pieced cruising and carving, I'd go with a thruster over that, but that's me. So, Ryan Weddle, I have no idea what kind of powder rider I am. Is Survivor an option? We're all survivors when it's the white ribbon of death.
Yeah. Copper opened new train.
They did. I wrote it yesterday. There was definitely people that were not surviving. The best was they dropped a rope in the deafness, and ski patrol's there, and he just like looks at everyone after the first group of snowboarders go, and he goes, "Give them a minute because they're all gonna fall down and die, and then just don't run them over." And I'm looking at him, and he goes, "You know it's true." And I was like, "You're not wrong." And right after I say that, I look down. There's like 3 dudes like in the water runouts, just like, ugh. He's like, "I warned them." So, yeah. Okay. Uncivil engineer hitting 80 reps of pint curls for lodge pimping season. But have you practiced your lodge pimping walk in your snowboard boots?
It's true.
You know, you got to tie them only to the ankle, so you get a lot of forward flexion. Makes it easier for après dancing. Quentin Travis, why isn't there any Never Summer reviews? Because they're shit. I'm not dealing with those fucktards. All right, letters. Nothing good happens in the park after 2, but what if it's night and your runs don't start until after 5? Still stands. Still stands.
Yeah, I mean, you could be at Trollhog and it could be 2 a.m. But
yeah. From Gnarly Egg, when's the best Powboards vid dropping? I need validation. Hang on, I can tell you right now. Let me look at the list. I tell you what, I'll move it up because Ben's got to edit them starting tomorrow or tonight. So we'll cut that and move. All right. I moved it up on the list for Ben to edit. So you're looking at maybe at the earliest next week. So yeah.
That's not too
All
bad.
right. Okay. From Carpe Diem, will Vale opening day be crazy like the others, or is it demure? Might be sleazy and skeezy. I don't know. Honestly, I have never gone to a Vale's opening day, so I don't know what you're gonna do.
I imagine it'd be more busy, not more busy than the rest because they were in first, but like it's going to be on the busier side for sure because they're not opening a lot when they open. Like, and it's Vale.
They did get a shit ton of snow though, and they've been blowing, so they're actually doing good. So
yeah,
I mean, you might catch a rope drop or 2 if you're lucky. So just be careful if you go in the trees. It's fucking sketchy still. That it needs to compress. We need 1 more round of snow with 6 inches or more, and I think the trees will be okay. So. All right. Okay. From Quentin Travis, Rome Ravine or Spring Break Powder Twin for deep powder days? Yes, both of them.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
You want to ride Switch? Probably the Spring Break Powder Twin. If you don't, Ravine.
Yeah.
But they're both going to float.
They both float. From Alan Sang, have we discussed the Union Burton step-on team-up yet? We were just talking about that before we hopped on.
Yeah.
So I've known that this was coming for years. Like, or at least I had an idea that it was. I remember the demo truck got stolen up in Seattle, and they put a list of everything that got stolen. It was a whole bunch of Capital Union, but the last item was a set of Burton step-ons. And I was like, oh, that's happening. And everyone's like, no. And I was like, that's happening.
No, that was the only thing not stolen. The Burton step-ons are in the picture of not stolen.
I thought those were stolen. And
out of Johan's, are you talking out of Johan's car?
Yeah. His Tahoe?
Nope.
Yeah.
The step-ons were left. Everything else was stolen. But it got everybody wondering, why are there step-ons in Johan's car?
Yeah. But still.
And then, yeah.
Either way, once I saw that, I was like, it's happening. And then I had a few people hit me up. And then in the tribute board shop video with Fawcett at the Union Factory, you could see the toe clips sitting in the background on the table. Like, they weren't even discreet about it. I was like, yeah, that's there. So that was a whole thing. And I was like, oh, it's going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. And then the reps at local state were like, do not talk about this. And I was like, what, man? It's on Reddit. Once it's on the internet, it's fucking out, dude. They're like, we don't need you perpetuating. The press release is coming. And I was like, okay, whatever. Press release will be out. And so then the press release dropped. I was like, cool. It's an Atlas with step-on capabilities. Am I going to ride it? Probably not.
I'm interested to see how it'll go if you can move the heel cup on it.
That's the only thing I'm curious about, and I want to play around with it because I want to see if you can adjust the heel cup and then the toe cleat slides with it, because that's the problem. The toe cleat has to be able to slide, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to lock in.
Either that or the boots that they're making for it are specifically size fit to it to slide it. I don't know how they're going to do it, but that was my first thought too, is how does that work with their metal heel cup that moves? But
I don't know. We got a PSA from our boy MB. Pants optional, shit bucket manager. I'm sitting on my shit bucket right now. I got no legs, man. I just shit in a bucket. All right. From Tony Lynn, looking for a new pair of bindings for my Jones Stratus, Battalion Astro full wrap or Union Forces. I'm going full wrap on that one.
Yeah, I would too.
Because like for the Stratus, you'd be better off if you went Union, bumping up to the Felcor, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Or an Atlas, at least an Atlas. Probably an Atlas, actually. Get more power out of it.
Yeah, because, I mean, you're going to want something that's a little stiffer. Otherwise, you're going to underpower the shit out of that board. It's just how it is.
Yep. All right. From Tyler Hype, Colorado Suarez, shout out to Greg Kenna and Steve Lauder, was all the Stoke Gin Blossoms for the win. Got a link down in the description, so when you're done here, go watch that shred flick. It's the homies in Colorado. It's a good one. It's a good one.
It is. It's a really good one. That was my favorite one of Locals Day when we were there. That was so
but
much
there's also a ton of other movies down there. There's Madison Blackley's Hinterland. What else? There's just a shitload of movies in there. Like I was looking at it and I was like, God damn. So it goes full movies, like webisodes and full parts, and then it's like tech stuff. So there's like a retrospective on Nidecker's boot designer who used to be Burton's. I put tribute, board shops, top 5+1 freestyle binding video in there. Tactics, top 5 binding video, freestyle binding videos. Maybe it was tributes all mountain. It's a binding video, but you know, you guys will have some content to watch tonight. A lot.
And Taylor Gold's movie dropped today. Home Break.
I just put a link. I just put the link for Home Break 2 in there too. So that's out of Steamboat. So give that. That's in the webisodes area, I think, on that. I just put that in there too. I haven't had a chance to watch it because it literally dropped like 30 minutes before we had to get on here. I was like, oh, I don't have time to watch this. I got to do some stuff. So,
yep. Tonight.
All right. From Frosty Wheels, does a 10.5 US mean I'll always need wide and extra large bindings, gray area? Depends on the boot. That's the issue. Like, if you're in a 10.5, say, ride fuse, no, you don't need an XL binding. You might actually be able to get into a medium in there. As far as the wide, it's your call if you want that or not. Like, most shit's wider than it's ever been, and it just keeps getting wider, which is weird. Can't wait for that rebound to snap, start going narrower. But you know, you're on the cusp. It's like, use your discretion. For a board, I just look at anything that's 25.5 at the waist.
Yeah. I mean, just like you said, depending on the boot, and like even some boards have like grip tech or traction tech underneath that bumps it out and almost makes it that mid-wide underneath. I mean, unless you have like a Vans boot or a 32, you probably don't need a wide board. Like with this day and age of boards, like you'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, I get wides for like park boards because I prefer just to have that extra stability when I come down, and they balance better when I'm sliding sideways, which I'm doing less and less at 41. So let's be real. It's creepy. All right. From Henry Bludgeon. Local shop only carries 2 brands of boots, so unfortunately going the buy and return online route. Could you point me in the direction of some quality boots? I have a narrow foot, high instep, size 9. Best boot's the one that fits your foot and fits your needs. Now that we've got that out of the way, Nitro, Solomon, certain models of Ride, and you might like certain models from Nidecker. I'm still waiting on them to get me my shit so I can do those boot breakdowns. I was actually editing a boot breakdown right before this, so I'm trying to trying to get those boot breakdowns done. I'm trying to get, if I can get one done a day for the next like 40 days, I can get them all done.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at. You got anything you want to add to that?
No, I think you pretty much covered it. Like, you could say Vans if you have a narrow ankle, but it's not going to help with a narrow foot because that thing's going to pack out so fast.
So much.
Like, it's not going to help.
Yeah, 32's out. Burton is out. Flux is out. DC, you're kind of on the fence with that. Yeah. So, all right. From Wallabeezy360, I had a dream that Averin did a review with no hat on, and he had a beautiful head of golden hair up top like a Lannister. I had blonde hair until I was 5 years old. Like, I had full-blown blonde hair, and then it changed, and it went kind of brown. But right now, I'm just rocking the skullet. Full skullet. My hairline starts back here, guys. Just straight down. Fully bald. Okay. From Drago C. Yo, I moved to a resort this summer. Hope for good snow. Yeah, me too. I hope it pans out for you. I have a Capita ASIM and I think you mean a simulator and a K2 instrument. What board would you add to these two? Hoping to find a good deal during Black Friday. So what you realistically need is probably a straight POW board or a short little cruisy carver type thing. So maybe a GNU Gremlin in that range or like an Endeavor Archetype or something like that. Those are the two I'm throwing out. What about you, sir?
Yeah, I was thinking something in that realm, like a Storm Wolf that you can still like be able to rip an edge on, but it's more powder dominant. So like one of those, or even like a Psycho Candy would be sweet, where you can still like take it anywhere, but it's gonna really excel in that powder. Or possibly like, let's think here, 203 BBC, probably. No,
yeah.
What would
203 BBC always.
Yeah, always.
Always. I want to make it so that we've talked that board up so much that Nitro's like, dude, we're getting all these orders. We have to up production. You know how hard it is to find a box for those things?
Yeah.
Shout out to Benny P over at Nitro.
Custom board boxes for those things.
That's exactly it. Like, that's the whole thing. Is it's like just an issue. Shipping those things is a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we had to make custom box for the 203 we had to send back, I think. Or did I get that back? Or did we give that back to Andy? I can't remember. I think we might have.
We gave it back to Andy. Yeah.
I think we did. We left it at Base Mountain for him to pick up.
Yep.
And then he was bragging that he got a 203, and I'm like, that's because no one wanted to ship it. So, yeah. All right. Okay, let's take this next super chat from Beesims. What's the best way to learn hand plants? You want to bank like this, and you've got to practice a cartwheel with one hand, and you just kind of go up, put your hand down, and then you grab Indy with your backhand, so between the feet, and not Tindy, Indy, or you can grab tail if you've got the arm span for it. But then you basically go up and do it, and you start on a bank, and then you take it to a quarter pipe. Tripods are a good way to learn, like if you're trying to bring it around and go up and over, because then you can take that to Miller flip, and then from Miller flip to hand plant.
There you go.
Vinyl Richie still want to know if Averin has ever ridden a 170. If so, what brand did he take it? Okay. So I've ridden a bunch of 170s in my day. Smokin' had the KT22 in a 171, I think. It was a 172. I can't remember. I rode that at Keystone. So I've ridden that. I've ridden the Litigator from Libtech, and maybe it was an M-Appeal, but I think it was a Litigator that I rode that in the 170. I've ridden the Doughboy 195. I've ridden the 203 and the 173 Quiver Cannon. So I've ridden both of those. I rode the hell was it? It was something from Nitro in a 170, and I want to say it was a Pantera, but that's not right. Let's see what else. I think for shits and giggles, one time I took a Burton Custom 170 out too, because for some reason we had it in the rental fleet at MSO when I worked there. I have no idea why we had a board like that. It only got rented 1 week of the year. There's always a dude when we would sell it every 2 years that come in and he'd be like, 170 custom right there in the corner, 150. Cool. He'd grab that and a set of cartels and he'd walk up to the counter and be like, ring me out. Wouldn't see him for another 2 years. So, yeah. Ryan Hansen, snake to skier at Bone Zone on Monday. Oops. No, you're doing the world a favor. Skiers shouldn't be at Bone Zone.
Yeah.
It's a snowboarder thing.
That's all right.
Yeah. From Allie, finally made our pilgrimage to Castaways in Breckenridge. Them goons are in fact really good. Were you gooning at Castaways?
They are good.
They are good. Might actually go get some tonight. I'm not sure. I'm cutting down my Rangoon budget once a week now. I can't do this 5 days a week thing. Got to cut it down.
Costs a fortune.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Oh shit. We skipped a super chat, didn't we? My bad. We go back to this one from RJ Gould. RAP my quiver. I went out of town and my dog sitter left my garage open and my new algorithm and Jones Storm Chaser got swiped. Anything to suggest on this cheaper size for a 190-pound size 9 for Bachelor in Colorado? Shoot me a message. Shoot me an email. You've been a supporter for years. Shoot me an email and we'll see what we've got sitting around here. We might be able to. I know we can't do the Storm Chaser, but depending on what size algorithm you want, I can either get you an algorithm or maybe a moderator. We got stuff we can hook you up with. So shoot me an email and we'll see what we can do for you, dude. That sucks, man.
That does suck.
That sucks so much. I would fire that dog sitter from Rover. I would contact them and be like, so who's paying for this? But if you got renters or homeowners, I believe you can claim it. So, but hit me up. I think we might be able to work something out for you. So we'll talk. We'll talk. You might have to make a donation to Shred Foundation, but we'll talk.
Yeah.
Might mean one less prize for Black Friday, which is coming, but it's okay. We'll talk donations to Shred Foundation. We'll work something out. We can make something work for you. Which, speaking of Black Friday, we're 2 weeks away. So 2 weeks from tomorrow, that's coming. It's going to be 6 hours. It's going to be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We have 2 pre-recorded interviews in there. One from John Makins from Remind Insoles. We'll be talking about their new aftermarket boot liner. And then we'll also have Danny from the Shred Foundation. And we may even have a guest appearance. Who knows? But we're getting stuff ready for that. The official rules will drop soon. And I'll put that in the community tab. I'll have that scheduled here in the next few days. We'll do that. We're going to be hyping up a bunch of different shops that work with us and stuff like that. So we're going to be doing that. But everyone's going to have a good time. Questions are going to be answered. And some people are going to probably win some prizes. So
ideally, yeah.
Yeah.
Free up some room.
Gnarly egg. Have you ever ridden anything from Cardiff? Not from Cardiff, but I've ridden boards from the factory they're made at because they're made at GP87. I won one of their carbon split boards, and I'm considering getting a solid from them. Go for it. It's a brand I honestly just have no ambition to ride. Like, I look at it.
They just seem overpriced to me. And like wall hangers, they're beautiful boards. Like, they're sweet on the wall, but like, yeah, like you, I'm just like, there's nothing about it that makes me like, I need to ride that board. But if they ride well, go for it. Like, they're just expensive as shit.
From Brandon Marsh. Hey guys, I just got new boots and have been considering insoles. Is it worth it to go heat molded, or can I get something decent from our? If you're getting heat molded, you want a shop that's going to do it. That way they can put it into the mold and make everything, and they'll do any corrections. If you're just going to throw them in your oven and then do it, don't. because you're going to probably do it wrong or you're getting an improper fit. Don't buy your footbeds from Marshalls. That's going to be like your Dr. Scholl's and shit like that. Don't, like, here's what you need. Here's where I would go, right? Cetus are solid. DFP are solid. Remind are solid. Super Feet are solid. Shred Soles are solid. Those are the ones that I would look at from there. And, you know, you got to figure it out. And if you have a local shop that sells aftermarket insoles for specifically for snowboarding, go to that.
Yeah. And the main thing when you are buying insoles is, like, keep in mind your arch length. Like, that's the most important thing. So when you're buying insoles, you're buying it based on your arch length, not actually how long the insole is. Like, I've seen it so many times where people come in, like, it just doesn't feel right. And you're like, yeah, it's because you bought it for like a size 10 foot, like, but you're just supposed to cut them down. So keep that in mind too, of your arch length and arch height when you go and try them on, just so if you have pressure points now, it's only going to get worse when you ride.
Yep. All right. We got a super chat from Senior Kobe. Set up a new quiver this year, 157 wide, ride 0, 161. Yes, pick your line on ink, and a 164 hovercraft 2.0. I clicked your links. But wanted to give an extra thanks for all the good. Well, we appreciate you clicking the links. And for anyone looking for product, all videos in the description have affiliate links, and it doesn't cost you anything extra if you click them and buy it. Just supports us, you know. So, you know, but if you're just watching videos and you're letting the ads roll, that's cool too. Any support we can get, we're stoked on it one way or another. So
yeah, that's a sick quiver.
That is.
I was thinking about it, like, man, I would love to have that.
We can make it happen.
We can make it happen. Thinking about it.
Oh, this is a good question from Maximus DP Simus. Not a board question, but a location question. Which ski town would you rather spend a season in, Breck or Winter Park? We both live in Breckenridge. I've lived here for almost 20 years. I hate Winter Park with a fucking passion. Let me tell you about the problem with Winter Park. It's just far enough out there that, like, you don't have like as good of a community as you do here. You don't have the amenities, and it's just such a weird spot. A lot of drug addicts out there, a lot of alcoholism. Not saying Breck doesn't have alcoholism, but it's that, and the depression out there is a lot worse than it is up here. I'd rather be in Breckenridge. Because here's the thing. We got a AAA hockey team. You can go do that. We have a curling league if you want to go do that. We have the highest movie theater in North America in Breckenridge, and they don't do second run movies. It's current movies. It's literally 2 blocks that way from my house. It's great.
They serve beer there too.
Yeah, they serve beer there. It's amazing in that. We let's see what else. We've got a ton of restaurants here. Plus, if you want fast food, you can get it. Because we have Taco Bell, we have Wendy's. You know, we got shit like that. We also have more resorts. You're not limited, because out at Winter Park, you've got Winter Park and Mary Jane right there. And then the next closest resort is Ski Granby Ranch. And then from there, you got to either go up over the pass, then through the tunnel, or you got to go out through Granby and then come down south if you want to come to Summit, or you got to go north over Rabbit Ears Pass. No, if I lived in Winter Park, I'd probably hang myself. I'm dead serious. Like, I'd be dead.
I'd own a bulldozer.
That's Granby.
Well, it's next to it.
That's true. It's right next to it.
It's all the same to me, damn it.
All right. Brian P. Why do so many beginners show up to opening day? Because they're fucking retarded.
They're
like
stoked.
Yesterday.
They're just
dropping ropes. They're dropping ropes, and there were a whole shitload of heel side shitters just trying to like slip right through like the mogul fields, just eating shit. And I'm like, no, you suck. I got yelled at by some girl too, because I had to thread the needle between her and her idiot friend. And she's like, you almost hit me. And I was like, bitch, there was 10 feet on each side of me. You're fine. By the time you even noticed I was there, I was gone. Like, you're the problem. So, okay. Surf's Up Rooster asks, what are the key differences between Surf Camber and C2X? Is one clearly better for POW? I'm taking a Rasmussen to Japan, but thinking about demoing a Karua transition finder. Surf Camber is set back traditional camber with a rocker traditionally on the nose. So you've got camber, but it's more back foot dominant. So when you load it and compresses that camber, it activates that rocker even earlier, so then it raises up. C2X is just a longer camber zone with a short, if I remember this right, it's a shorter reverse camber between the feet. That's it. You can get a directional C2X, but the Rassman does not have that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay. From Ivahan, hi, Angry Team. I was about to file my top sheet on the new Jones Storm Chaser. Found it has rounded ABS sidewalls. Will this stop top sheet chip? It should, but it never hurts to grab your file. There's magnets on this. But it never hurts to grab your file and just go around the edge lightly and just bevel it slightly more. It'll help you a little bit, so you don't have to deal with those lift line idiots chipping it and shit. So. Yeah. Okay, from JP. I have a Rome party mod. I'm wondering how much overlap there would be if I picked up a Spring Break Resort Twin or worth grabbing. If you want some camber underfoot, it makes sense because the party mod's flat to rocker. So you're going to get different pop out of it. I mean, TC, you rode both this season.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, I don't know. I think party mod's more geared towards the park in my eyes, where I think you could take the Resort Twin more all mountain, pop it on side hits, just to have a little bit different of experience on it, as opposed to party mod, great for buttering, that sort of thing, and just keeping it loose. But you could still get a little bit more precise on the Resort Twin. Like, that's just how I feel. And it's got great pop for having to do nothing, really. So it's a good pickup.
In my opinion, the party mod, way more freestyle focused, way more park focused. You know, it's something you ride in the preseason and the spring for all mountain when you're just buttering around and bonking shit. But peak season, unless it's like a 4-inch pow day, because that flat to rocker is great, you'd be better off with like the Resort Twin because you get more power out of a carve. You get more pop and spring in your turns and offside hits and stuff. Like that's kind of the big difference between the two. And Allie, I'm letting everyone know the trees at Breck are okay if you're looking to fill your board with some more PTEX or the soles of the novice riders you plow through. I like that.
That's good.
Dan M, everybody shid sometimes. This is factually true.
That's true.
You're going to shid at some point, but when all you do is shid and tell people you're carving, there's problems. All right, from Drago C. Hi, I have my Capita simulator for 3 seasons. Rode it 50 plus days. I still love it. How to tell a board is dead and needs to be retired? How long does the camber usually last for? Thanks. Some boards it lasts forever, and some boards, like I just got rid of my shadow band, and the camber was still it wasn't as high as it was. It was probably only like 3 mils, but I just gave it away opening day at Copper to a guy that is definitely lighter than me and will have a ton of snap out of it comparatively. But what made me want to get rid of it was opening day at A Basin. I went to go ollie off a side hit and the tail just folded and didn't rebound. And I looked at it and I was like, well, that's dead. What I like to do typically is put a board flat on a table and push it down and see how much it snaps back. And that's usually a good indication of it. But if you're riding it and it still feels like it's got response and you can still ollie and stuff, I wouldn't worry about it. It's like,
yeah. And honestly, from my experience with Capita boards, you can tell visually, like if you put that thing on a flat table and it's sagging or it's just not even off the table. Like I have a Mercury here that is now flat to rocker because there's no camber left in it. Like, and that's a good test. And I've noticed it a lot more with Capita boards than any other boards that when they say they lose their pop, it's just that camber is just decompressing because it's been ridden so many days. So take a peek at that, put it on the table, and just like you said, just put your finger on it and see how much it rebounds. Like that's a quick test.
Well, when I was doing like product testing for Never Summer and they were coming out with their lasagna camber, the board would be like this. It would be like camber, reverse, flat under the back. And that would usually happen between 25 and 30 days. And I was like, oh, I decambered that again. So,
I wonder how that would ride. I've never seen that profile in the wild. Like, you know what I mean? That'd be a
Just
weird one.
go look at someone that's rocking like a 10-year-old like proto or something, and
Well,
and you can look at it and you're like, oh my god, you like pick it up and you look at it. Like for years, like they were giving me like 10 to 15 boards a year. Every single one of them did that. I would just decamber them, and I was like, and I knew when it would happen. I was like, yeah, I have no spring for my back foot.
what's the opposite of surf camber then?
It
Boogie board
is.
camber?
Yeah. Well, it's really good for turn initiation because you can push some weight into that camber. And then if you disengage the front foot and set on the back, rather than slingshot out, you just elevate the front and hold that edge. You know?
We're on to something here.
Yeah. All right. From Chill Metal. Warpig or Jamie Lynn short wide for Pow in the trees, and which one will spray down the whole family reunion of fat skiers in the woods? I mean, I'm going with the Warpig just because of the camber profile. You know? Yeah. But if you need to ollie over the family of fat skiers, that's the short wide.
Yeah.
From King Longswipe, why not have the shredder option on the pole? Because I want to know who's shitting out there, so I never ride with them. Be like, it's not a powder day. Don't come. Just don't come. Don't come. Ooh. Orlando Arellano, have you decided whether you are coming to Big Bear this season? I don't know. I got to get some transmission work done on my Volvo. So it's not shifting. It's not clunking, which is good, and it's not grinding, but if I'm making a long-ass drive, I need to get that taken care of. Right now, it looks like Utah in January, and then we've got a trip planned for something else in February, plus we've got Thirsty Thursday. On top of the fact, basically my dad was given 6 months to live. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but we can't operate. We can't chemo. We can't do radiation. So we've hit the point where we're just like, this is... So I'm kind of on call if anything happens. I'm like, oh, okay, I got to fly back to New York. So, it's a whole thing in there, but cross that bridge if we come to it. So,
Yeah.
All right. Okay. From my boy, One Cold Frog. I've rode the Rome Warden for 2 years and my riding has greatly improved. What should I get to keep progressing? For you personally, I ride with him. This is my friend Steven, by the way. I would say that for you, you're at a point where I think a Jones Mountain Twin, maybe a Capita Mercury, or even a Ride Shadow Band, like kind of that Rad Dad cruiser board. I mean, that's even a Ride Moderator would work for you, so yeah.
No.
Okay, let's see. Cesar J. Quintero, intermediate, and I bought a black snowboard of death. I want to keep it and progress, so I got a Warden too. There's still hope for me. There's always hope for people. Also, do I need a powder board? Recommendations: 220 pounds, 10.5 bands. I love the content. You love the content, or you love the programming? But which, by the way, speaking of the content, I know that some videos have been slightly out of focus. I think we've tracked down the issue on it. I'm pretty sure we killed an SD card. And it's either that or it was when I was transferring footage from one drive to another drive, there was some degradation. I think we figured it out. Not going to be able to fix it this year, but next year I'm working on processes to refine that. So that should be better. But for a powder board at 220 pounds, 10.5, I would say, like, you're the type of guy that would like a Jones hovercraft. Stiff enough. It's going to be damp enough for you. What do you think, sir?
Yeah, I mean, that would be good. It's also going to be wide enough for that 10.5 bands boot as well. Yeah. Otherwise, I don't even know if you really do need a full-out powder board. Like, that's what I was thinking. I was like, you have a Warden. Got a black snowboard to death. That might be a little aggressive for you right now, but, like,
Well, he's going to grow into the black snowbird to death. So
yeah,
he'll get there.
He'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Return of the Shred guy with the super chat. Powder, what's that? It's when the cocaine plane explodes over the mountain and sprinkles it everywhere. Hashtag ski the southeast. No. Hashtag iced up slush piles. Yay. Hashtag if I put in a few good years, I'll go west. West is the best. I always thought it was funny. Ice Coast Kill Shit used to have a sticker and a shirt that said, I didn't bitch out and move west. And my only response was, I wanted the best, so I moved west.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah. Okay, from J. Ellis, what should I be looking at getting after a ride war pig to continue growth and help building a quiver? 42.5 boot and 200 pounds. Super pig. Get some directional camber under you. Learn how to turn. That's a solid one in there. Probably just need a good all mountain board, whether you go free ride or freestyle. I'd say check either of our top 5s and go from there.
Yeah, I was thinking a free ride board because you can still take the war pig in the park. You could take it and have fun on it. It's a directional twin when you get down to it, but probably something directional that's going to have a little bit better, just edge hold for when you do want to actually carve and then that sort of thing. I was thinking a moderator, honestly.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was at. I was like, yeah, this is doable. We could figure this out and go from there. So.
Yep. But yeah, go check out those links or those videos and let us know if you have the questions after that. Then we can narrow some options down.
And if you guys are just tuning in, because I see we got over 200 of you guys in here, remember to check out the poll in the chat box. Make sure you fill that out. We've only got 207 votes, so some of you heathens have not voted. So we definitely would appreciate you if you get into that. And we're going to take this next question from George Thompson. GNU Bank Country good for chopping through East Coast ice? I'd say so.
Mm-hmm.
That directional, progressive magnet traction is nice because it's easy to initiate the turn, but then it grips where you absolutely need it. And that's going to really help you on that East Coast ice. So I think it's a solid board.
I would say so.
From Dr. Crimp, you can ride only one board the rest of your life. Which one? And what if you could ride only one brand? Which one and why? Yay, cheers from Switzerland. I guess I'll go Rome. And I'll take a Ravine Pro.
Okay.
Because it's directional, but it's just freestyle enough for what I need it for.
Yeah.
So.
Thinking I'd go Jones. Well, you guys already probably know I'm going Jones, but I'm thinking the Stratos. Just because the same where it is directional, it's going to float for me in powder, but I could still take it on the jump line and in the half pipe and have fun with it. That's kind of what I was thinking. I don't really hit rails anymore, so I don't need it to be able to do that great.
Yeah. All right. From Sam, Downhill Mountain Biker. K2 Almanac or Solomon Assassin for East Coast carving and a little jibs. I'd probably go with the Almanac slightly over the Assassin because I think it has better edge hold for ice. It's also a little more stable on jibs. That's just me. I mean, new Assassin's sick, and they've definitely tweaked the side cut, so it's not as bad as the old Solomons were on ice, but I think that K2 Almanac's going to definitely grip and rip better. All right. Got a super chat from our boy Ruff. Shredbots, November 21st, Denver, Colorado. Support snowboarders. Yeah, they're selling tickets on AXS, I think. And it's at the Ellie Culkin's Opera House. Torstein's going to be there since he lives in Silverthorne. And that's going to be the world premiere. So that's next week. So get your tickets. Get there. Slap some high fives. Support snowboarding. It's a good time. Yep. I saw the Art of Flight. Or no, I saw That's It, That's All at that Opera House. Best advice, sit as close to the front as you can. You're going to want to because it's an opera house. So the screen will be set back because you've got the pit for the orchestra. So you can sit closer, and then it's better than being further back. That's my 2 cents.
So Thursday I won't be there.
Yeah. No, I won't be there either. From WellBZ360, do you by any chance know the Cutting Edge shop in Berlin, Connecticut? My old intern Bruce used to work there. So yes, super old board shop from the early mid 90s. Thinking of going there for some structure on the Gnu. Do it. According to my boy, that shop knows how to tune, so I would do it.
Sick.
Yeah. Well, this is a great question from TB. How similar is the K2 Passport and the Public Research? Which would you prefer, Midwest Rider with trips out west? Shape and side cut was, they're very, very, very similar. Even with the camber, flex pattern is where it differs. The Research is stiffer than the Passport. And you'll notice that it's stiffer more from the middle back through the tail. It's got more power. And when you load that camber up, it rebounds quicker. So you get a more reactive pop. That's really what you got to ask yourself. If you wanted a little more playful, Passport. A little more precision, Research. Couldn't go wrong with either of them. But since you're a Midwest rider, maybe you want to support Joe since he's a Midwest rider. I'd go with the Research.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Our boy Turkey Loco. Oceanside to Mammoth right now. Going to die on the white ribbon of death tomorrow. I love your channel. RIP to me. Stay strong, my friend. Stay strong. Okay. From Little Richard Haygood. Yes, Greats on Ink or yes, Typo with Battalion Astro ASIM. Both. They're solid. I mean, if you're looking for an asymmetrical twin on Ink, directional twin, Typo. But, it's not my takeaway.
But yeah, they'll both work with it. With those bindings, they'll be fine. Flip a coin.
Gnarly Egg, that's it. That's all. It's the best snowboard movie of all time. Changed my mind. That's it. That's all. That's what I said when I left the movie theater.
It's a darn good movie.
It's a good movie for people that snowboard. For snowboarders, it's not a good movie. It's mass appeal. Yeah, sure. If you're trying to do that, it's great if I want to show it to my mom because, what the fuck am I going to do? Am I going to show her We're All Losers 3 so she can look at Roman DeMarschi's balls?
Mm-hmm.
Not showing my mom Whiskey 1 and 2, that's where it's at. Read the Room, but at the
Read the Room.
It's not as good of a movie as people think it is. It's a narrative story, and that's what it is, and it tells this tale. But at the end of the day, there's more filler than thriller. So
it's got good B-roll.
All right. From Danilo Shakonvitsky. Is the Spring Break Resort Twin plus the Union Ultra plus the Battalion Asaboa a good setup for an intermediate rider who actively wants to progress in all mountain carving? Well, binding's a little soft.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, everything else is, but the binding.
You might want to go to a Force there at least, bud.
You're going to love the Force.
The Force would be better on that. That would be it. As far as the boot, best boot is the one that fits your foot and fits your needs. If it does, it's good. As far as the board, that's a great all mountain board and it can still carve.
I talked to a dude yesterday at the demo that had the Battalion boots.
What did he say?
He said they fit really well. He really liked them.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, and I was like, he was flexing them in front of me, and I didn't see any crease marks or anything. So I was like, I did well. He's like, they're a little bit on the stiffer side, but it's not bad.
Well, that's the thing. Cool. They're on the stiffer side, and they have a smaller articulation. It's going to take longer for that to crease. I looked at it because I took the stiffest one, and I touched it tongue to toe, and I looked at it when it came back, and I couldn't see any crease mark, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So. Kai Farrell, what's the first board you ever bought? What was yours?
Mine is a liquid snowboard. I don't know what it was. It just had liquid on it, and it just had flames on it. And that was the first board I ever bought. Board, boots, and bindings all came used for $100. And then the first real board was like, what was it? It was a Burton Clash. Like 07.
So
like
my first board was an Adam Merriman. I'm pretty sure it was an Adam Merriman Lamar that had a shovel tip to it, and it had the core was also this thick, like that thick. I swear to God, probably had 20 millimeters of camber on it. It was a 157, and I had Moro low back bindings, and I bought a set of Airwalk half pipe freestyles. I bought the whole setup for $375 from the boardroom in Ellicottville, New York. And it was, I think his name was Jaleel. I think that's his name. He was one of the ski patrols or mountain safety's kids. He had consigned it there, so I bought it. That was my first board. And then my second board was a Type A Mark Morissette 152 that I bought from a shop that was, this is a hilarious story. So my brother used to work for a company called Function Snowboards, but they had their own factory and they would press boards for Type A, Triple X, and Orgy on top of their own brand Function. And my brother's dyslexic. At the time, he hadn't been diagnosed yet. So the Type A, the A on the bottom was backwards on the nose because he put them in wrong when they pressed them. He did a couple hundred of them, but I bought that board for $115 from a shop in Hamburg, a bike shop, Hamburg, New York. And I remember bringing it home, and my brother looks at me and goes, "Did you fucking buy that? I could have got you one for free." And when the company was going under, because they got bought by Heelside Snowboards in Oregon, so they moved the factory, the guys basically took all the factory seconds and were selling them for $100 or stealing them and just selling them or trading them along the way so that they could move out west. And so I had that board. Still have that board, actually. It's under my bed. There's a section of this much of the edge that rusted through. So I had that board. And then after that, I inherited the James Bond, like the 70s graphic custom from 2000. I inherited that. And then after that, I had a Burton Dragon that somehow it got moisture. Like it had no impact damage, but it had a dimple in the nose. And when it would get cold, it would go from the size of a dime to the size of a golf ball. And so I dropped that off at Burton to warranty it, and they lost it. So they just sent me whatever. They didn't send me the right board. And I was like, they sent me a Burton Rush. And I was like, this thing sucks. And so I sold that. And then I had the board that got me into doing reviews. I bought a Santa Cruz Panther Ply. It was a Robbie Sell Pro model. That board sucked dick so much that I was like, people need to know how bad boards are. And that was the one that led me on the path to doing board reviews. It was super, super funny in there. So yeah, I had that. And then let's see what else. And I think I had that for a while. Got rid of that. I had some loaner boards. I don't know, man. That was weird. Yeah. I don't have any of the only board I have is that Type A. I've given rid of all my stuff because I'm like, somebody else can just have it.
I still have my Burton Clash.
It's at your parents' house, isn't it?
It is.
All right. From Woot. Ride deep fake or nitro alternator for all mountain daily drivers. Similarities, differences, love side hits, and charging. Take it away, TC.
For charging, I'm going deep fake, but for the side hits, I'm going alternator. Like so. Yeah. But yeah, I mean the deep fake, even though it does have that rocker in the nose, it feels like the nose still engages really hard when you do go to like lay into an edge. So you don't have to worry about ever losing an edge on it. And like it's nice and damp, cuts down on a lot of chatter because you do have that urethane still in the sidewall with their, I don't even know what metal's in that sidewall, but it does give it a good snap. But the alternator is just tight anal sidewalls. But the alternator is just more freestyle focused in my eyes, where it's easier to load it up. You don't have to think quite as much. And it's just all around like that more just, I would say, more responsive board or not responsive, more lively, where you're going to feel it. You're going to want to put one of those stickers on it too. You can go to the Angry
keep
store.
Dick beaters off my snowboard. We got to add more
but,
of these to the web store.
Yeah, we do. But yeah, I don't know.
Snowboarder.com if you're looking to buy stickers or you need to hire us for personal advice.
That's true. But yeah, think if you want to go more side hits, then go alternator. If you want to go more charging, go deep fake. But it's splitting hairs, really. You could flip a coin, pick one, and you're not going to be disappointed.
All right. From T-Turtle11. Good afternoon, gentlemen. What Rome binding is the equivalent to the Battalion Astro full wrap? Looking at pairing them with the Ride deep fake. That would be the cleaver.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
From D Money Bros, I watch your product reviews all the time. I spent about 12 years in Brecken Copper. Thank you for the work you do. You should move back. We need good people in this county.
Yeah.
This is a good PSA from Ruff. The Ride Timeline series is super underrated. Those boys work hard. Yeah. So the rated R videos from Ride that they've been putting out are like an hour long each episode. Like, it's crazy. They're so good, and I'm always trying to post them up.
Yeah, I've been snacking on those.
From Chill Metal, what are your thoughts on the new Zen Terrier Hawkinson boards? I mean, I think it's cool for Terrier to be working with that brand, and I think it's solid. And I think the guy that designs and builds for Zen, like, I've talked to him once or twice. I'd love to ride one. So, yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I've never ridden a Zen, so I don't know. I've never even seen one in the wild.
Yeah. Oh, you probably never will. They're in Sweden. So
Sweden. You gotta get up to Sweden.
Yeah, Sweden, Switzerland, somewhere over there. All right, from my knees are cheese. Looking good, boys. Saw that Chad O was doing some podcast/interview stuff. Any chance we're going to see an angry crossover? Hashtag is Gorb still alive? Hashtag I put Volcom stickers on my boards too. So Chad O asked me last week at the or he texted me. Let's see, what did he say? Find it right now. Where is he? Yeah, he's like, good seeing you last night, Angry. I'm going to hit you up next time I'm in town for an interview. So he wants me to be on the Chad O show. 1 GoPro, 2 microphones, in 5 minutes. That's what it is.
It's a good premise, honestly.
So
I watched the last one he had with that dude that got double chairs.
Oh, Nate Dogg with 4Gs?
Yep.
Nate Dogg with 4Gs, yeah. So yeah, Chad talked about it. So there's that. Gorb is still alive, last I know, and still master of ceremonies for Thirsty Thursdays. All complaints must go to Gorb.
Yeah.
So, I like this one from Brad Rostet. What are some good historical snowboard movies to watch? You're going to go to Lost Snowboard Movies on YouTube. I always try to post stuff. Maybe there's one in the Cultural Mystery Link of the Week or not this week. I don't know. It's down in the description. But you're going to go to Lost Snowboard videos. Those guys have put in work getting the best snowboard movies on YouTube. So, like, all of them. Like, just watch. Shout out to those guys. They're doing it. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. From our boy Letters, did you guys hear Union is doing step-ons? Best binding ever. Going to revolutionize bindings. Dude's already bought all the stock. He's on pre-order for next year's.
Yeah. But what about the boots?
Yeah. All right. From B Shreddy. Got the Now Times Yes Select Pro with the pig logo for my new Super Pig. Thanks to Randy and Arthur. Please add this to their Zima and cigarette fund. We'll let them know. You were definitely a Halloween shopper when the special guests showed up.
Yeah. The ultimate pig setup.
All right. From John Gacy, not to be confused with John Wayne Gacy. Hi, Angry and TC. I'm driving through Colorado on the way to Utah in January. I have the Icon Pass. What are some must-hit mountains in Colorado? Thanks. So you're going to be going right down 70. So here's what I do. Go to Copper, and then one day at Copper, that's all you need. Then go down to Aspen and just hit all the Aspen resorts. As long as you don't have the Icon base, you need the full Icon to go there because the Icon base is blacked out. But yeah, I'd go to Aspen. That's, if you're looking to get a little off the beaten path, head the 2 hours north from Silverthorne to Steamboat.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can blow past Eldora. Don't waste your time with Winter Park. So, yeah.
Yeah. If you're doing it on a Sunday, you can go to House and get a free lift ticket. Go ride the oldest ski resort in North America.
Oh my God. Did you see Curtis's Instagram story of him going up the rope tow at Howelson the other day? There's so many rocks and like trees sticking out. I was like,
yeah.
Oh, I looked at that and I was like, don't go out of the track. You'll die.
Yeah. It's great. And you wonder why the track is always so spicy, even in mid-season. That's why. Because there's just giant boulders.
Oh, you look at Howelson in the summer and you're like, why does that? No, that's just a bad idea.
It's just character building for the kids. You really are just pissed at a kid that you're coaching.
Oh, you got a new board? You're going up there before the mountain opens? Have fun. Yeah. See you at P-Tool so Bernie can yell at you and call you a dumbass for taking your new board out. All right.
It's great.
Troy, we got a super chat here from Troy Para. Just got a Skunk Ape 170 Ultralight. That was a big board. And Battalion Astro ASIM bindings. Solid setup on that. Looking for some boot recommendations. Thinking about Burton Photons. Best boot's the one that fits your foot and fits your needs, man. I would suggest you have to try on 5 boots from 5 different brands. And then go
if you got that big of a foot, you might need to get a pair of the Bigfoots from Rod.
Yeah, and actually you might be limited on what you can get at this point.
Yeah. So I would check out Solomon K2 Ride. They all come in at least a 14. So check those out for sure.
Ryan Hansen, when did you get your skate banana apron? I never got one personally. We got a demo early when I worked at MSO for the first year skate banana. And I remember taking it to Breck, and there was like 4 to 6 inches of snow. And it was like one of those days where it was like maybe 2 inches on the groomers and like 4 to 6 off. And I remember that thing riding so wonky. And I came back to the shop, and everyone was like, so what was it like? And the first words out of my mouth were, you ever just seen a banana fuck a steak knife? And they were like, and I was like, that's what it rode like. Because the first year one was like super bent.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah.
I got a park pickle.
Asymmetrical.
Open steamboat. Asymmetrical.
From Matsumoto. One has got to go. Which one? Public Display, Ride Zero, Typo. Yes, Typo. Ride Super Pig. Rosnell Sashimi. LibTech Climax, and what board needs to go in? Thanks. Probably that Climax.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I was like, everything else is solid. Get rid of the Climax, and then pick up a 203 Quiver Cannon.
Yep.
Because otherwise you're good. Like that's where you're at. Like, all honesty, I really wouldn't pick anything up. I just keep what I have and clap everything out.
Maybe maybe something for just straight up charging hard, like a Megadeth or like a Free Carver 9000, something like that.
Ooh,
but like,
actually, Free Carver 9000 would be what I'd pick up, because then everything else you've got, you're covered. That's the one, or like a Karua pencil. Or maybe an Amplid Soli Grail. That's what I'd look at. Yeah. Or even an Amplid Morning Glory. All right. From Tommy Capicola, Avran, are you from Western New York? Born in the southern tier, born and raised. Buffalo native here, now living in Colorado. Started riding after I moved out here at 34 years old, 38 now. Love the content. Keep it coming. You should come to Thirsty Thursday. February 20th, up at Ski Cooper. $45 lift tickets. Make sure you buy it in advance. Makes it easy for pickup. We'll have the radar gun. We're doing top speed. Winner might get a snowboard. Loser might get a snowboard. Loser probably doesn't want the snowboard they're going to get. Winner might not want the snowboard they're going to get.
Someone's taking it home, though, and it's not us.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Someone, we're going to have some fun with this one for sure. It's a fun time. We'll see if we can cause the bartender to have an aneurysm again this year. That poor dude was like, there's so many people. Yeah, but they're polite and they understand to wait. You guys keep opening the gate on the deck. And I'm like, yeah, but no one's stepping off with a drink.
Yeah, actually, the deck was keeping us from going on there with our drinks. Like, it could have been a lot worse had Ruff not been a gentleman and brought some Pacificos.
Yeah.
Like,
I was really bummed, though, that Ski Cooper did not have the canned Gatorade last year.
Yeah, that is a bummer.
The canned Gatorade was what I was looking for. Because when's the last time you drank canned Gatorade?
You know? In the 90s. It's got a different taste to it, too.
I miss the Gatorade from the 90s that came in the glass bottles, because then when you were done, those were perfect for making Molotovs when you were a kid.
Like the lemon juice bottle. Like, I see lemon juice in those same bottles now.
Yeah, like the big one, right? You know what I'm talking about? Like the 20-ouncer? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those things were great. They had the wide mouth lip in there. It was perfect for sticking a wick in there and making a homemade Molotov and starting fires with your friends.
I miss the nipple bottle where you twist it and then you can like squeeze it in your mouth and close it. I miss that bottle. You get your tongue stuck in that thing every once in a while.
Oh, that one? And that was actually 2000s.
That one. Like, I miss that bottle.
Yeah. Yeah.
You take one sip of that Gatorade.
That's the difference between me and you, 10 years, you know?
It is. That's my bottle.
Right. All right. From CK, stickers on helmet, yay or nay? If it's done tastefully, if it looks like sticker bukkake, no.
So the one problem I do have with stickers on helmets is helmets are round. Stickers are not really made for that. So when you go to put it on, it always gets that little crease or something on there if it's like a square sticker.
That's why if you get a sticker like this, because you want people to know to keep their dick beaters off it, you have to cut it so that it rounds perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
People don't understand that. All right. We got a question from you from Gnarly Egg. Best cliff hucking board from Jones?
Probably the Flagship Pro. That's my thing. I'm thinking that has the most landing gear out there. It's going to be the stiffest tail. So that's what I would want if I'm hucking cliffs. What are you thinking?
It depends. If you're spinning cliffs, I would think Flagship Pro. Otherwise, Stratos would be my go-to because of that shaping, it's still going to help you float out.
Yep.
Okay, from Jason, granting the Union times Burton step-in is the singularity of fanboys. Should we at least celebrate it as a product that could put Clue out of business? Nidecker's working on that too.
Yeah,
there's like
not even worried about the clip.
The funny thing is, I really wouldn't worry about putting Clue out of business. Like the people that buy Clue are fucking idiots. They're all fucking idiots. I don't care. I've said it in the videos. I said it in the review. I said it in the how to set it up. If you're watching this and you have Clues, you're a fucking idiot. You bought a shitty fucking product. That's it. The funny thing that I've noticed with those fucktards is the company itself. Oh, they'll be like, they have to do a product launch, and then there'll be like 2 hours in, they'll be like, limited product. It's because they can't make enough. They don't make enough. I bet you they don't even make 500 pairs a year. The people that are buying that, on top of the fact, like, you look at the first generation and the screws that they gave you were shit. Like, they're not going to dump the money to update it. Like, they will go out of business before I guarantee you there's a 2.0 version. And that's just how it is. They're spending their venture capital more on marketing to influencers to get rubes to buy it. Like, at least, here's the difference between Clue and Step-On. Like, if we look at the Burton one, $3 million to develop it. The Clue one, they literally 3D scanned a Solomon rental binding and figured out a way to build a sex stirrup on it. Like, that's it.
They only spent $3 million?
Yeah, they spent $3 million in R&D before they ever produced one at Burton.
That's it? I feel like it would be way more if they took like
because what they did is they took specific designers and they like put up a wall or something. Basically, they built a whole section for it, and they're like, "You will only work on this product." And because they have their 3D printing, they could 3D print everything themselves, so they could kind of build everything in house. That's like, as a product, like the first gen had some issues, and the boots have issues.
Oh, yeah.
Like they collapse in on themselves all the time. I see that. Like I think they've kind of figured that out a little bit. But you know, like you look at it and you look at the Burton Step-On, whether I like it or not, which I don't, it's not for me, but I look at it and go, at least it's designed. And looking at the photos of the Union one and then talking with the reps about it and everything, like they spent time to develop that perfectly. Like they really did. And that's where it's at. You go and you look at the Nidecker, like the Supermatics and stuff, and then there's some new stuff coming out for next year that we're not allowed to talk about. And you look at what they're doing. This is the way it's going to go. Like, you're going to see brands going that route, I think, for everything. And it makes sense. Like it's higher, they're higher quality materials because I need to grab, let me see, where the fuck are they? There they are. like you look at this. And so this section right here where the stirrup is, the chassis and everything is literally a Solomon rental binding that they definitely went snowboarding on a trip, rented it, and then they figured they could deconstruct it. But you look at the quality of this, just the composite material, and it's shit. It's shit. It's got a really bad injection mold. Like you've got a huge injection point back here in the heel cup and stuff. I'm honestly surprised some big dude has not cracked them. I do find it funny, though, when I'm riding the chairlift and I look down and I see one of the Clue highbacks just sitting there. I'm like, who ejected them? And the other thing is like the way it's designed, I got these to fail on me the first day I used them. Like I was able to get it to disengage. They just have more problems than solutions. And the funny thing was when they were still in design concept, when Kevin and I had the Angry Snowboarder TechCast podcast, we did a segment on it and we talked about it. And those guys, it was like, we went to engineering school. Who the fuck are you? And I'm like, someone that snowboards every day. Like you got to show me functional product. Like, engineers design cars, but mechanics will tell you that they put the fucking oil filter in so hard they had to take a wheel hub off to get to it and shit. Or it's like your car, to get to the battery, you have to remove the seat.
Yeah. Yeah. For one of them.
Like who the fuck designed this shit? Like,
Dude, if I want to replace my starter, I have to take the wheel off.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Like I had a bunch of, I like to refer to them as like good old boys because they're like, we love Chevy and we love Ford and Dodge, work on the Volvo this summer when I was in New York. And I went in and they're like, we've never worked on a Volvo. And I just looked at him and I was like, Craig, Kyle, this is literally a Ford motor in here. It's an inline six. You've worked on this motor. And they're like, oh yeah, it's the Ford inline six, but it's a Cosworth inline six. So it was made in England. And I go, take everything you love about Ford and understand that the Swedes designed this so you can get to right to everything. They had quoted me at like 7 hours of labor work and they got in there and they were done in like 2.5 because everything was just like, we just removed this and we removed this and there it was. And we did it. And then we put it back on. Mm-hmm. We took lunch. We came back. We filled your fluids, took it for a test drive. You're good to go. Mm-hmm. And you're like, that's how it should be, And that's the problem is like you get these guys that don't snowboard and they don't have a snowboarder brain. So they over-engineer everything. That's the problem with Clue. Like that company it doesn't have longevity. That's the problem with it. Like they think they do. And you look at it and you're like, you don't. Because the people that buy that are the guys that go 5-10 days a year. They will own that product for the next 20 years if they can. You need people that are going to be able to re-up because they're using it so much that it needs it and stuff. But like the average Clue user, the Cluesers, like I went into Gravity opening day and I walk in and there's a guy with a Burton 3-hole board. When was the last time Burton even made 3-hole? Probably been 8-10 years, right?
I was going to say maybe 2010. I want to
10, 12, honestly. Something like that. So maybe even longer than that, right? So he's in there with an old 3-hole and I'm looking at it and I didn't even recognize the model. It was so old. So it's probably like from like 06, 07. It's got a Jonathan Buckhouse sticker on it. He's got 2 screws holding the disc on because it's so weird in there. And he's like, do you have a disc that'll fit this? No, because that's a proprietary disc because their bindings suck. And I'm looking at it and he's like, well, it gets loose on me. And I'm like, you're playing disco foot with a binding that already ejects. And I'm like looking at the screws, and I wanted to be like, you should probably change those screws that they gave you out because the thread depth on them is not right. Like, so whatever.
Yeah, I mean the only what's funny about the 3-hole is like the only company that fits a 3-hole now is
Drake.
Solomon. I wouldn't even consider Drake.
Drake's disc will fit because they haven't changed it since 1999.
Who the fuck is buying Drake bindings?
Europeans, evidently. Some dude was butthurt about last year's Drake Reload binding review. He's like, you're a fucking loser. You're this and that. And I was like, you bought a shitty binding, dude. Don't blame me that it sucks. I wrote it. It sucked. Get over it. That binding company, literally the best thing about Drake is all the good people left and started Union.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. All right. We'll take this one from Gorb. Edge tuning and weekly live stream. Best way to spend an evening. Hashtag TC eat the goo. Hashtag I put coarse diamond stone in my ass. Hashtag Gungus. How's that feel? How's that coarse diamond stone? Is that grinding down your hemorrhoids? My bigger question, did you put coal up in there first and then it turned into a diamond stone? Yeah. All right. From Beeswax, Karua Transition Finder is fully broken in. It's a bit too soft for my taste, but I picked up a Transition Finder Plus and it feels horrible. Any suggestions for something that can carve like Karua but is a little snappier? So, okay. So you might like a ride moderator or even a shadow band because it's going to be kind of similar in there with it. Otherwise, you might need to go look at an amplid, like maybe a Psychonaut or a Soli Grail or the Singular, not the Singular Twin.
Yeah.
You got any recommendations for this man?
Maybe an Aeronaut.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, you know what? Rome Freaker.
Yeah.
That's another one too. That'd be a good one too. Yeah. All right.
Maybe a Battalion Beyond Metals, but that might still be a little soft.
That's probably going to be too soft.
I was thinking if the regular transition finder felt soft, that's probably going to be a little soft.
Yeah, that's probably going to be a little too soft. All right. From Dizzy Licks or Lizzie Dix. Depends how you want to read that. What's your favorite bindings and boots to go with the Jones Flagship Pro? K2 Thraxis and Rome Black labels. I'm not changing what I'm doing. Everyone's like, and I'm like, I'm not changing. I know it works.
Yeah. I mean, either a Mercury or an Apollo for bindings, and then I'm not changing my boots. I'm going to ride my fuses. Those are on the stiffer side anyway. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the Insano. It's just too stiff for my liking. So, but I'm just going to go with what I normally ride because that's on the stiffer end anyway, and it matches up with that board pretty well. So that's what I would say. But definitely the best boots one that fits your foot, and I would recommend going something stiffer with that board for boots wise. You're going to be spending some on a high quality boot.
Yeah. Okay, we got a super chat from Colm Buchanan. Les Arcs opening a week, December 14th. Winter Stick Party Wave plus a Nidecker Ultralight or the Cabin Mountain Twins Peregrine can only bring 2 boards like the videos, heathens. Well, you won that Winter Stick Party Wave from us, so why don't you take that so you can go ride it? And then I would probably flip a coin between that Ultralight and that Cabin Mountain Twin. I think you'll be solid there. So, let's see what else. Okay, let's see. Brian P. Mark Fawcett is making me want to try step-ons. Please help. Is he holding a gun to your head? You're an adult. Make your own decisions.
Yeah.
All right. Joe Gunn. Uncle A, are you sticking with your Thraxis for this season? I got a pair somewhere over there. Somewhere. Brand new pair. So, yes, I am sticking with them. which I got to do. I took out my current pair and I was like, ooh, getting a little heel lift in one of them. Got to do a little foam work, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, I rode my new ones on Friday, and it is crazy feeling. Like, they feel normal, but I don't remember like having a boot that stiff. It's been so long, it feels like. Like, when I flex into them, I like go into my toe side, it just turns right away. I was like, oh yeah, that's what it's supposed to feel like, instead of like me doing all of the work. It's great. Love the new boots.
Yeah. All right. From Gun Fever, do Rome boards need a wax before first runs? No, rip it out of the plastic, pull the stickers off the base, and go ride. So,
yeah.
Okay. From LEM, as a person who averaged 20 miles per hour down school marm today, I anticipate being in the bottom tier of the Thirsty Thursday race. Well, here's the problem. You have to make it up the T-bar first.
Yeah. I mean, if you crack 20 miles per
lap.
hour,
You have to take the chairlift up, then you go down the backside, and then the race starts when you get off the T-bar and down the front side, because that way it weeds everyone out. They can't make it up the T-bar. Especially like if we start throwing snowballs at the lifty, so the T-bar stops when you're at that incline like this.
Yeah.
You're just like, God damn it, I hate this.
Love the T-bar.
All right. Let's see. Okay, we'll take this one from Scott Hollingsworth, Midwest Border, Michigan. I have a DC PBJ and a Marhard Dark Side. Am I missing out on anything? Unfortunately, we basically never have typical resort groomers, parkside hits, and just rad dad ride. The only thing that I would recommend for you to consider, and you don't even need to consider this because you're kind of covered with what you got, would be getting something short, wide, and directional, just for like those spring slushy days for ripping weird carves and shit, or doing a pond skim. That would be it. But Midwest is more your territory, TC.
Yeah, I mean, as we call it, the Midwest Merc, aka the Spring Break Resort Twin. That was the first thing that came to my mind. Like, something like that would be good, or you can come out west with it then. But honestly, I think you're right there. Get like a volume shifted board, like almost a party board in my eyes, like a War Pig or something like that for the springtime when it's just nice and sloppy. And then you got your mini, what is it, pond skim at the end of the year probably. Like, it'd be perfect for it. Something volume shifting party, though, would be great.
Yeah. All right.
From
our boy Ruff with the super chat. Second annual parking lot Pacifico Pounders.
Yep.
No, you're supposed to bring the big bootied Latinas. And I still want my tamales, Dairy Queen asshole. Waiting on that.
If you bring the Pacificos, they will come.
I want the tamales, man. All right. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Looking for stuff. This is actually good. Ross Barcy. Last 3 hole is the ration when Dice rode for them. That was the board I saw. So that's
shit.
I remember it saying ration on it. I was like, what the fuck is that? Okay. And just to let everyone know, Tommy Bennett's in the house. Can't stay long, but wanted to say what's up. That's right. Tommy, you jerry. I'll see you tomorrow at Copper. Got to look at your new jackets.
What's he doing at Copper?
Showing me new jackets in the parking lot. Really sketchy. Like, it'll look like a bad drug deal going down. It's great. You know? Yep. I swear to God, whoever is working the booth at Copper at the parking lot has to think I'm either a drug dealer or I'm stealing snowboards, because I'm always like giving people shit all the time. Like, here's a board and you get a board. Take this. And like, they see me walking around with boards with no bindings and shit. Okay. From Lucas Vincenzotto. I have Union Stratus and I'm looking for bindings to complement my new K2 excavator. I'm thinking of getting the Union Felcors or Atlas. What would be the best? Any other recommend? I mean, personally, I'd go with the Felcors. I like that binding more than the Atlas. If you wanted to do K2, you'd go with the program. Otherwise, I would also look at the Battalion Astro. Your choice on full wrap or ASIM wrap. Full wrap's going to have a little more lateral power. What do you have for the man, TC?
Well, I mean, I would go with the Falcors first off, because I don't think on the excavator, I don't think you need all of that, like all that precision. You want a little bit of side-to-side play on there, a little bit of lateral movement. That being said, I would go with like my Mercuries, like the Jones Mercury, something like that, or even like a Katana where you still do have that lateral play to it, but when you're going heel toe, you do have that precision as well. But out of the two, Falcors all day.
And then Tomato Joe wants to know, where is the rail grease? So I figured I'll bring over this Signal Kyle Mac, and all this black shit right here. Yeah, that's rail grease.
That's not the graphic. Like, that's not the graphic.
Let me see. Maybe. Right there. That's rail grease. I got a little greasy there for you, bud. So, all right. From Matsumoto, y'all rock, but please get Redneck and Frenchie back. Joe Gunn, does the T-bar go between your legs? It can. It can go behind your back, or you could just hang onto it like Superman and get dragged on your stomach all the way up.
Nope. I normally just sit on it.
Yeah. And MB, did someone say big booty Latinas? This man is coming all the way from the flats of Europe for Thirsty Thursday. Bring this poor man some big booty Latinas. He wants those BBLs. Rob Gams, love the 2017 Capita Outer Space Living. Thinking about getting the 24-25 version. Ride trees, pause, side hits, carve and cruise. Prefer off piece thus. It's a completely different board, dude. It's a completely different board than what you got. It's more like low level intermediate. Like, just so you know, it's a completely different board.
Yeah, I'd probably check out like a Mercury instead by Capita.
Yeah, that's
more of what you were used to. It's going to be a little stiffer than what you had, but it's going to be more of what you're used to than the new version.
Yeah. All right, Samuel Kelly. A Stranded Descender or the Arbor GPS to complement a yes, pick your line on ink. East Coast riders still looking for excellent edge. Get the Stronda. Just get it. It's going to be a damper ride on edge. You're going to like it. The GPS is great. It's a good board, but it's too similar to your pick your line on ink. The Descender will be far enough apart that you'll notice the difference. Okay. Let's see. All right, from Mr. Dell 29. Now that I have my quiver, all mountain park, all mountain freeride, all mountain powderboard, I need an extra binding. What's a good complement to my new Union forces? You probably need something stiffer so you can like go charge with it, because your forces could go on all of those. So I would say like maybe a Jones Apollo, a Ride A10, or a Rome Cleaver. What about you, sir?
Airmaster Extreme?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't get to ride that one, so I don't know if that would be stiff enough on those levels with everything else.
Yeah. All right. We'll take this one from Allium. What are the odds the Stormwolf split board in Underground is still around for my husband to buy in December, or does he need to buy it now? I'm going to go with it's probably pretty good odds.
I can see that. Yep. But if it's not there, they can special order it for you. And I don't think they'll have a problem doing that as well. No. If you want to buy a Stormwolf from them, they'll make it happen. So
Stormwolf split board.
Stormwolf split, sorry. Yep. They should be out. I mean, yeah. They can order it for you if they don't have
it. From Troy Perry. I'm 190 pounds, 6 feet tall, without shoes. Boot size is 11. I love carving. Intermediate rider, but don't ride much park. You think a 170 ultra wide camber skunk ape is too big? Yes, I do. You could have probably gotten away with something in the low 160s with your stats and still had a good ride on that.
Yeah. Yeah, you could have just went with the regular skunk ape camber, like in the low 160s.
Yeah, instead of the ultra wide. Yeah.
Yeah, that's made for like a guy with like a size 13, 14 boot. Like, I don't even know with your size 11 if you're going to be having any toe or heel hangover for leverage. Because it's an ultra wide.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you might have this much room before the edge on that ultra wide.
And I can't remember, but I want to say it's like a 28-2 waist or something crazy.
It's absurd. It might be 29.
It's a piece of plywood. It might be. Like, somebody in the chat's probably got those stats in front of them. So I do want to know what it is.
All right. From failure to send with the super chat. Picked up a 161 shadow band for cruising, carving, pow. Is that too much for a size 12, 185 pounds, 6'1"? The wide options were 55 wide or 60 wide. I mean, you're talking about 1 fucking centimeter between a 60 and a 61. Like, I would have gone with the 60 wide because I know then that the width of that would fit the 12 better. But I mean, as a board for what you're describing, yeah, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Okay. From Jack Off Beat, platter lift harder than T-bar. Changed my mind. Hashtag Thirsty Thursday. Well, the platter is the groin grappler. That thing.
Yeah. The only reason that one hurts is because your taint gets sore from having to like sit on that thing the whole time.
You're chugging along at like a 5-degree pitch forever on that thing.
At like 2 miles an hour. It's actually harder to stand on that thing otherwise because you just want to tip over half the time on it because you're going so slow.
People are like, you gonna go ride the platter? And I'm like, fuck no, I'll take the chairlift. The chair takes 20 minutes. I'll take the chairlift.
It's faster to push up that hill than it is to take the platter.
You'd be quicker to walk next to the platter, talking shit to your friend. Than doing it. Yeah, so let's see. Brian P. I want a T-bar retractable belt clip. Some dude down in Australia invented it, and he was trying to get me to push it. But the problem was the way it hooked up, it would turn you 90 degrees. So you'd end up on your like heel edge and pulling you up. And I was like, yo, dude, I actually called it the groin grappler. And he got all pissed at me for calling it that. And I'm like, dude, it doesn't attach at your hip. It's literally attaching at my dick. I'm like, so now it's going to pull me all weird. And I'm like, and he's like, you clearly don't understand how to ride a T-bar. And I was like, you clearly have never been to a real mountain with a steep T-bar.
Yeah.
I was like, I get it. Your mountains are like this. Ours are like this, you know?
Invite him to Thirsty Thursday. He'll learn.
Yeah. All right. From Hayes. K2 has so many free ride boards now. What are your faves these days? The best 2 board free ride quiver out of the bunch for advanced rider, Alchemist and Excavator. I mean, I'm at a point where the Passport's pretty much all I need. Like, I need something a little softer. But yeah, if I had to choose, I'd go Passport, Excavator for me. That's just what I need.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely go Alchemist for sure. Excavator was on there too. Otherwise, I was thinking Antidote for more freestyle, like side country, that sort of thing. Because the Alchemist will hold the edge. It'll rip through the trees, no problem there. But if you want to get more freestyle oriented, then the Antidote. But, I mean, the Alchemist and the Excavator, you cannot go wrong on either of those. Because you can still get freestyle on it. There's not a shit ton of taper on the Alchemist. So you'll be fine there. Like, if those 2 are the ones you're looking for, those are 2 great options that are going to complement each other. So
yeah,
you can't go wrong. I still love my Alchemist. Maybe I'll ride that tomorrow.
King Long Swipe. Does the Angry Snowboarder remind you of Bam Margera? Funny you say that. When Viva La Bam was like a whole thing and stuff, being in Western New York, I looked like Bam Margera in the early 2000s. And cougars that would come to Madigan's in Ellicottville would think that I was Bam Margera, and they would flirt with me and buy me drinks all night. And because I had like a beard and like, you know, and I dressed like him and I wore all black and shit. Now these days I look like anorexic Bam Margera. He's kind of big. He got thick.
He did.
All right.
But I think, yeah, it's because of the facial hair right here, how he used to grow it. And then
if I grow the beard out just a little bit, it kind of looks like him. If I put a flat bit If I put like a visor beanie on backwards, I'd look just like him. Yeah, no.
I know you're for the Halloween live stream next year. You
got
Vito! Well, Don Vito's dead, so
the ghost of Vito. I'll have like a little ghost. All right.
And then
Dar wants to know, name the core brand. Venture Snowboards.
Venture
down in Silverton. They heat their factory with their core shavings. The owners split board up Silverton every morning before they come in to ride. Everything like that is probably the most core brand you could ever do. Like they literally live where they ride. Like when I say like you can ride to their factory from where they skin. So like they skin up and they put their split together and they ride right back to the factory. There is no such thing. The Brenners, Clement Lisa, love them to death. They're hands down the most core snowboard brand out there. I don't care what anyone says. Like they just do their thing and they fly under the radar. I'd love to ride some of their boards these days. Should probably reach back out to Lisa and see what she says. Ugh. Oh, here you go. Skunk Ape Ultra Wide 28.5.
Thank you, Hayes. 28.5. You don't need that for a size 12 boot.
I like this question from Michael Mega X. Do I need a 203 BBC for the hill at my park and 1 foot kicker I made so I can gap the kids sledding? Fuck yeah, you do.
Yeah. It'd be way cool.
Yeah. All right. Okay. PSA from our boy Jack Off Beat. Thirsty Thursday is not just a one-day event on 2/20/2025. We will be goofing and gooning all week. You guys are going to be gooning in the gondola at Copper, aren't you?
They're gonna be gooning.
So, from Mitcha Ventura, Jones Mercury's or Atlas/Atlas Pros to swap between a Union, I think you mean a Capita Mercury and a Jones Storm Chaser. Already have vices on the chip board, riding Japan trees and Alpine mostly. You don't need the Atlas Pro for either of those boards. But I'd probably go Mercury over the Atlas because it's going to give you a little more power into the edge. That's just my takeaway on it.
And then if you do go Mercury and you are going to swap them between the two boards, you're going to go ahead and get yourself one of the extra hangers. And that way you only have to do 2 screws on each instead of all 4. And you could just swap the hangers or the chassis back and forth. And you don't have to take the screws off or the discs off each board. And that's what I would say. Definitely go with the Mercuries over those other 2. You don't need an Atlas Pro for a Storm Chaser or a Capita Mercury. Like that's overkill on both those things. And the Atlas is fine, but the Mercury is just better in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. All right, from Blazins, back and knee issues. So remind insoles have worked great for me. However, with a high instep, I get pressure on top. Any particular brand of boots to look at for high instep or more volume with insoles? So Vans tend to have a higher, the liner's so soft that you won't. The bigger thing that you can do is, and I think it's in the Boot Fitting 101 series. It's an old video, and I got to redo it. You can build what's called a pressure bridge, where you put foam on each side of the instep on the sides of the liner. So when the tongue from the shell comes down, instead of it putting even pressure across the top, because these pieces on the side of foam that you put, it hits and then it elevates it and creates a gap in there. So you don't have that problem anymore. Or the other thing is, if you've heat molded the liner, you can always cut where the instep pressure is and cut lines across the liner. So it creates flex points. And then let's say this is where you're having the pressure point. You would cut this side and this side. Then the foam would wrap around a little different in there and relieve some of the tension on there. So there are steps.
And then I would also recommend looking at, if you're a BOA guy, looking at boots with zonal BOA. So you got the upper and the bottom, and that way you don't have to crank down on the bottom one. You can crank that upper so you still have it tight on your calf and your shin, but then down low it's allowing your foot to breathe. Or look at lace boots.
From Colm Buchanan, will there be Zima at Thirsty Thursday? Only if you bring it. We don't have it right now in this state, but I've heard that it's back in others, so I'm looking for it. And can you recommend decent accommodation if I fly out from Ireland? FYI, you're going to need a rental car to get around because Ski Cooper's outside Leadville. So like the best thing to do would be either hop on our Discord and coordinate with some of the people staying around Copper Frisco and see who could give you a ride. Plus if you stay between Copper and Frisco, there's decent accommodation. Depends what you want to do, and then that would be the best way to get you up there. So from Mike B, is there a legit abundance of 15s out there now? Or how do you deal with boarders who think their sneaker size equates to boot size? Let them buy everything too big, like a lost cause, #comfort fit. I think Ride, maybe Burton are the only two that make a size 15. Like size 14s are hard to find.
Yeah, I know Burton or Ride will custom make them for you. You have to like get in touch with them and like pretty much show them that you are a size like 15 to 18 or something like that. It's crazy. But yeah, you can buy them. They're called the Bigfoot.
So what I do for people that buy their boots too big to tell them that they buy, which this is actually funny. This is something I wanted to bring up earlier. I was searching for snowboard videos today and I came across some channel where this dude was talking about all this work he does to his boots. And he's like, yeah, I put a footbed under my liner in my shell to suck up volume. And I'm like, he's like, I've been doing this for years. This is what I do to get it. And I'm like, you buy your boots too big, bro. Your boots are too big. So what I used to do when I was in the shop and someone would tell me that they need a size 15, I was like, well, let's size you. And I'd be like, well, you actually size it a 12. No, bro, I need a 15. And I go, hey, do your toes hurt at the end of the day when you're snowboarding? Yeah. And I go, do you feel your toes sliding into the end? And they go, yeah. And I go, your boot's too big. So your foot's going like this. And I was like, you ever lost a toenail? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, that's because your foot's sliding in there. I was like, do you get blisters on your heel? Yeah. And I go, this is going to solve all those problems. You're wrong. And I go, I tell you what, I'll return these boots if you buy these in this size. But if you buy them too big, I will not let you return them. So I do that. And I would say 98% of the time, I wouldn't have someone coming back. And then the one time that someone come back, I'd be like, let's heat mold them. And I'd heat mold them. Oh, that's the difference. Never see them again.
Yeah.
Ugh. Okay, let's see. What else we got here? All right. Hayes, if you want an all-expenses-paid boarding trip to anywhere in the world, where are you ripping for the week? I would love to go to Gulmarg, India, but I'd probably die of dysentery. My stomach couldn't handle it. Realistically, Japan. I want to go to Japan. I was looking at houses again over there. It's like, I could do it. I could just move over there. The problem is their summers are too hot for me and I would die. I can't deal with that.
I'm saying baldface.
I do a week at Baldface for sure. I was actually looking at prices for that for us. That's not in the budget.
I didn't think so.
It's that is not in the budget.
That
will not be in the budget for a couple of years. I was looking at that going, we got to figure that out.
Yeah, it's like $5,000 a person or something just to stay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I'd go for a week because that would be sick. I like haven't heard of anybody having a bad time at Baldface.
This is hilarious from JP. No way you used to go to Madigan's. That place is legend. My brother's a bartender there from time to time. Like, okay, so first off, you got to understand Green Bar. Like Madigan's morality. It's a bad place. And I've done some stuff. TC, am I glitching out?
A little bit.
All right.
We missed that whole Madigan story.
Oh, no, we haven't missed the story. I was just like, so anyone that doesn't understand. Okay. So Madigan's Green Bar is like, you get an eclectic mix in there. You got woodcutters, snowboard bums, people from the city of Buffalo, cougars hiding from their husbands or whatever in there, and degenerates. It's just a shithole. And the downstairs bathroom is just a giant ass trough in there. And then if you've ever been in the downstairs and you get water dripped on you when the upstairs is going on, understand that they put too many people in the upstairs of the building and it crushed the sewage pipe, which means that it's leaking pissy on you. Most people don't know that, but yeah, I've got a couple funny Madigan's stories over the years. So there used to be this girl that lived in Elegantville. We called her Alabama because she was from Alabama, and she was the Alabama Slammer. And her name was Megan. And so we're in Madigan's one night, and some fucking, some Chad bro motherfucker that was like 280, 250 pounds and like 6'7", hands like ham hocks, was like every time he'd walk by her, he'd pull her hair, and she's like, dude, I don't like this guy. He's been creeping on me. He kept trying to give me drinks. And I was like, I got this vibe. So anyways, I was like, you want me to take care of him? And she's like, what are you going to do? And I was like, I'll take care of him for you. And she's like, what are you going to do? And I was like, I'll take care of him for you. So I go in the bathroom, and there's the trough right there. And then there's a stall. He's right up against the stall, pissing in the trough. So I stand right next to him awkwardly. And I look at him, and I just turn, and I piss right down his leg. And I'm just pissing on, and he's just like, he's in shock. And I was like, and he's like, what are you doing? I was like, marking my territory, bitch. And I just piss all over him, zip up. And so when you come out the door, there's this little hallway, and then it opens up, and then there's the bar, and then there's a side door. So I come out, and I go around, and I'm hiding by the wall. He comes out, and he's like, I want to kill that man. Before he could say motherfucker, I pushed him right through the side door, grabbed it, pulled it shut because it locks, walked up to the front, and the two bouncers, the Kens, so there's Ken Harvey, and then there's other Ken. I go to him, and like, I've known Ken Harvey since I was 2 years old, and I looked at him, and I was like, Ken, don't let that motherfucker back in. So he's covered in piss, arguing with Ken, and Ken, you got to understand, is just like, he's missing his front tooth from a hockey incident when he was 16. Dude's like almost 50 now, still has the missing front tooth. And he's missing his front tooth, right? You know, and he's sitting there, and the guy pushed Ken, and Ken just threw him in the street and shut the door and locked him out. And so like I did that. And then another time I rode a guy down the metal staircase from the top floor. It was a big holiday weekend, and like you had to know the code to get in the secret door. So I go up there and I knock on it, and it's one of the Kens. It's Avery. This dude follows me up, and I was like, he's not with me. And he kept like, so they shut the door, and I was like, turn around. I was like, dude, you have to go pay a cover. Why aren't you? And I was like, because my brother works here and shit, you know, and I'm like telling him this shit. And the dude's like, well, we're going to fight here on the staircase. And I was like, no, we're not. I just pushed him and jumped on his chest and rode him down the staircase. And they're metal cheese graters. There's like 40 of them. Just so he's at the bottom, like all discombobulated, fucking bleeding and shit. And I'm just like, and I go up and knock on the door, and I was like, can I come in? They're like, you took care of him? I was like, well, he's down there. I don't know what's going on. I was a degenerate when I was 21.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, my brother used to own a bar in Ellicottville called the Double Diamond. So yeah. All right. So Eli Clark, what do you guys know about the house selling alternate versions of boards? Bought a DC Focus camber back in 2017, but DC only sells them in rocker. It's definitely DC Focus came in camber and rocker in 2017. And it came for that for a few years before that. You probably actually bought an older one. It wasn't a 2017. They might have told you it was, but it probably wasn't. Ugh. All right. Okay. Oh, yeah. Smoke Show Adventures. Have you seen those quick set? Oh, my God. Every year someone sends me that rotational bullshit. Have you seen this? Yeah, I saw it last year, and I saw it 10 years ago, and I saw it 20 years ago, and I remember when it was fucking invented back in the 90s. Like, fucking fuck that shit.
I don't know why you need to move your foot like that to push. Is that the one we're talking about? Is that the
one that rotates? Yeah. Dude, someone tried to get on the chairlift with me last year at Copper, and I told them not with that hunk of shit on your foot. And they're like, why? And I was like, you're going to fall. And they were like arguing with me. I was like, go ahead. I'll just take the next chair. And dude fell getting on, and dude fell getting off. And the whole time, he's like looking back, saying shit. And I was like, told you you were going to fucking fall. So, yeah. From Barnes, I wasn't dumb enough to buy clues, but I did ride a tranny finder plus all last season. What would be a better wide directional board to go that still charges? You could check out the Ride Deep Fake wide. That's a good one. Even the Jones flagship, probably the flagship Pro wide. That's another good one. Even a Storm Wolf.
Yep.
Yeah. What else you got for this man, TC?
Let's take a Ride Mountain Pig. I feel like that one has now been forgotten because of the deep fake. Like, in my opinion, at least, I think that one's forgotten. Great for big dudes. Otherwise, what size does the Nitro Pantera come in?
66.
Okay.
And I don't think it's a wide.
I don't think it is
Maybe
a wide
there's a
either.
69 wide. I can't think it. Most people don't need that board. That thing's aggressive. That thing charges.
No.
It lays a trench.
It charges.
Most people don't need that.
Yeah. Otherwise, like something that'll charge. I mean, Free Carver 9000 would be a great choice as well. Otherwise, the Assassin Pro has been upgraded quite a bit this year.
It has. And they do have that bigger size in that now.
I think it's 66 or 64 wide, something like
that. So,
yeah.
All right.
Or K2
we're going to end today's poll of what kind of powder rider are you? With 327 votes, we have Smasher at 24%, Blaster at 16%, Slasher at 39%, and Shitter at 22%. If you voted Shitter, don't ride POW. You know who you are. You know who you are. So.
Did you see this one? I was just gonna say.
Snowboard Program has his own goggles. Yeah, from a shitty brand. You know what we're working on? Real footbeds from a real company. What, bitches? Remind Angry Snowboarder footbeds.
If you guys want Angry Snowboarder goggles, you can go buy some shitty ones from China and put $200 price tag.
$4 a pair and slap our logo on the same mold that his are and do it. Or I could keep talking to real brands and see if maybe Dragon would do a collab at some point.
Yeah.
I'd be down with that.
Actually, they do have that program where if you buy I think it's 100 goggles, you can put whatever strap you want on them.
How much does that cost?
We'll talk about this off air.
Yeah, well, I'd be willing to do it. I'd be willing to do it just to rub their face in it and be like, look, a real goggle company.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's see. I know we're missing some stuff. From Mike T, I will shit wherever I want. Yeah, usually in your pants. All right. From Chris Morris, do you have a review of the Signal Kyle Mac Pro coming down the pipe? I mean, it's sitting right here. It's been ridden. Ben's working on some stuff. Let's see. I think it's not in this round of stuff that I've got on the list. My guess is it might be a next month review. So, yeah. Let's see what else. Looking for some questions here. I like this one from Joe Gunn. TC Jones Mercury model when?
Dude, I got my Pro model air freshener, but no binding.
From King a long swipe, have you ever tried the goggles being sold out on Amazon? There's a whole video where I just go through how shitty they are. It's a long ass video. I shoot them with pellet guns, and the funny thing was the Outdoor Master were the worst. I shot him with a pellet gun and the pellet went through both lenses. At least most of the double lenses, it would hit and get stuck on the inside. The Outdoor Masters, it went straight through. It didn't even stop them. Even the shitty single pane ones that I shot and they shattered, it did more to stop it. So, yeah. Anyways, I think it's 5 o'clock. I think we're gonna get out of here, boys. So I love how everyone's in for the goggles. That's good. But we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna go do some shit. TC and I got to talk about some shit. Does a bear shit in the woods? Yes, a bear shits in the woods. Bears shit all over the woods. You live near the woods where the bears shit. But we're gonna get out of here. Make sure you check down in the description afterwards for all the videos and stuff that we have going on. We'll check that out. Also, if you feel like donating, we got the link to the Shred Foundation down there. So let's do that. RJ Ghoul, if you're still around, make sure you email us. Let's talk about trying to get you some boards. Since your shit got stolen, I think we can probably set something up in there. We'll be back next week with another live stream. No wheel next week because we got Black Friday coming up the week after that. We're going to be doing a lot of giveaways. Look for the official one on that. 2 to 3 videos a day dropping. And we'll see you guys soon.
Sweet. Thanks, guys.